Part 15. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Jonghu Buletin. Chapter 141. Lan Ruimen and the others were in a state of great emotional complexity. They thought that His Royal Highness was just talking, but he actually wrote a song for humans, and it was enhanced with the ability to seduce. Once such a song was spread out, it would really work. Lu Shifeng and other people from the Vampire Association immediately held a serious meeting on this matter, including reporting the matter to the humans above. I think the effect of this lullaby has been reduced by at least half after recording. It should be fine for ordinary people to listen to. I have already found humans to test it. Generally, people will fall asleep within half an hour, and the name of the song is written, which is a lullaby, so it's okay, right? Lu Qinhui was not interested in music, but she had seen what a real vampire looked like these days with His Royal Highness. There were people serving him almost every time he went out or did anything, especially Lan Ruimen and Lin Yan, who almost served Xie Tingzhou personally, and they had to fight for water, which was really annoying. But this song has the ability to charm. Lu Shifeng was also helpless. He thought that the ability of this vampire prince was so strong that he could make the song have the ability to charm after recording just by recording a song. Brother, if you have the ability, go and tell His Royal Highness the Prince. It's useless to tell me. Besides, we can't beat them, and we have to kneel down. What do the people above say? If they don't agree, let them fight. Lu Qinhui has a bad temper. Although she is in the Vampire Association, she doesn't take any job. This time she stayed with Xie Tingzhou because of Xie Tingzhou's identity as a vampire prince, but it is impossible for her to listen to humans completely. The people above have agreed, but I always feel that there is a bad premonition, as if something has happened, but we don't know it yet. Thinking of the secretive words on the phone today, Lu Shifeng instinctively felt very strange, because before, everyone must have been vigilant about having such a vampire prince at home, but this time, after hearing the news, the superiors were not vigilant at all, and asked Lu Shifeng to stay with the vampire prince. Something big must be happening, and this matter has even exceeded the scope of what Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui can solve. Then don't worry about it, just serve His Royal Highness first. Lu Qinhui felt that it would be best to arrange the release of the song as soon as possible. They didn't know that the National Customs Department had released the latest news, and now it is forbidden to fly to country Y and country M. The specific reason is still unknown. The overall customs is completely closed, whether it is tourists or international students, even those import businesses have stopped all of a sudden. But none of these could affect the vampire prince Xie Tingzhou. 1 month after Xie Tingzhou woke up, on a night in September, Xie Tingzhou's first song was officially released on his quiet Weibo. Lullaby was first promoted by major platforms. At 9 o'clock in the evening, which seemed to be the time to go to bed, Xie Tingzhou's Weibo also released music links from major platforms. In fact, we are all businessmen. We didn't want to buy the song at first, but we had no choice but to see that the producer of the song was Liang Fei, the most famous music producer in the circle. Then we listened to it. Oh wow! Your song has something. So we bought it. Xie Tingzhou's face control fans come to take a look almost every day. Today, Weibo reminded Xie Tingzhou of the update of his Weibo, and someone came to leave a message as soon as possible. Although this superb handsome man now called the vampire prince Xie Tingzhou has some middle school souls, it does not prevent everyone from liking this beautiful face. Seeing that the other party releases a song, many people are willing to listen to it for this face. But when they opened the lullaby, everyone immediately felt the magic of this song, because after listening to it for the first time, they felt sleepy. Then they listened to it 2 or 3 times, and they couldn't open their eyes. Many people who may have stayed up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning before, at this moment, after listening to lullaby several times, they really fell asleep like a good baby. Xie Tingzhou's lullaby did not buy any hot searches, and the next day it was deadly quiet, which made Lan Ruoming and Lin Yan very scared. They secretly found Chu Dingshan and asked Chu Dingshan to share it in the fan group. Before Chu Dingshan had time to start the live broadcast, his special situation was finally known to the country. Now he has become a civil servant with Xie Tingzhou, but the live broadcast can still be started, as long as the prince agrees, there is no problem. Xie Tingzhou didn't care about this, he just wanted to do it. Chu Dingshan had already done several live broadcasts without appearing on camera to interact with everyone. Now he heard Lan Ruoming's words and secretly played the prince's music in his fan group. Several people secretly gathered together. If the prince's music doesn't become popular, will he be angry? Chu Dingshan asked uncertainly. I never thought that such a good song would not be listened to by anyone. Lan Ruoming and Lin Yan also looked surprised, thinking it shouldn't be. Why do they feel that the prince has the ability to become popular? Why is it now unpopular? Xin Yunqing was very calm. It should be that many netizens didn't hear it. When they hear it, they will say it. Several people here are worried, but what is the reality? What are those netizens who heard it on the first day doing? They don't have the opportunity to post good comments and tap water. Because everyone is sleeping. As we all know, netizens are the most night owls. After working for a day, after eating, they always feel that the time when they are lying in bed is their own, so they play crazily on their mobile phones and watch videos without knowing what they are doing. As a result, they spend 2 nights at night. It's 3 o'clock. But now, I just checked in a music app and randomly clicked on a new song recommended to me. After listening to it for a few minutes, I had already fallen asleep. In this world, thousands of people are sleeping because of this music, and more blue stars are flying to Xie Tingzhou's side. They are floating orderly and silently, like stars in the universe, and like the most sincere heart, Xie Tingzhou stretched out his hand and let the blue love float around him. This is probably the reason why he likes human beings. The blue love is mixed with a little pink, which is a bit cute. It is also fun to be pushed by the blue love occasionally. Lulz is not the kind of song that suddenly becomes popular, it is the kind of song that when everyone wakes up and goes to work the next day, word of mouth starts spreading. It is not a popular song on the internet, and it does not even have lyrics. Just listening to various musical instruments and singing can make people fall asleep. This has made many people with insomnia recommend this song, and will also recommend it to night owls they know. The quiet atmosphere spread like this. Until a week later, Xie Tingzhou's Lipnea was still not played very much, but the comments on each music app had exceeded 600,000, and this song was also listed for the first time. Hot search. Hashtag Mother This song is a good for sleep. Hashtag the sand sculpture hot search created by netizens went straight to the top of the hot search list. It didn't even include the name of Lullaby. After clicking on it, you can see all kinds of sand sculptures. Netizens are busy. Sweetie, click to listen and fall asleep instantly online, hold on for 10 seconds, real woman. No regrets, when I played this song, I accidentally connected it to my neighbor's Bluetooth speaker. As a result, I put the neighbors to sleep the next day. My neighbor asked me what the song was yesterday. Is this appropriate? Can I not tell him? Lazy cat, Mom, this song is so good for sleeping. I used to have insomnia, and I fell asleep after listening to this song twice. I must recommend it to all my friends who have insomnia. Netizens' taps have completely made Lulz popular, but most of them are among patients with insomnia. Some psychiatrists have also quickly heard this song, and even recommend it on their own platforms. The number of fans on Xie Tingzhou's Weibo has increased sharply, from more than 3 million to more than 5 million, and it continues to increase every day. Xie Tingzhou now lives a leisurely life every day, just occasionally watching the comments and actions of netizens, which is enough to make him happy. As for releasing another song, he has already released it this month, so he will take 2 days off. The moon rises again. Hearing Xie Ting's words, the Lu brothers and sisters breathed a sigh of relief unconsciously. Then seeing that Xie Tingzhou was in a good mood recently, Lu Shifeng was a little curious. "Your Highness, why do you seem to be in a good mood recently?" Xie Ting's good mood was visible to everyone, and everyone looked over curiously. "Because humans are really cute." Xie Tingzhou answered, then looked at the humans or vampires in front of him, and suddenly remembered that the world he saw was different from the other people, so he said, "Want to know what love looks like in my eyes?" Everyone was stunned for a moment, but the next moment, Xie Tingzhou snapped his fingers, and everyone seemed to have surrendered themselves to the darkness, as if they had entered another strange black space, but in this black space, blue particles were scattered everywhere. Butterflies are flying, and white iris flowers are floating in the air. Everything is dreamlike. They should be black, but when these blue butterflies fly, they carry blue starlight, which makes people take a look. They all feel dreamy and confusing. Everyone stood in such a weird black space, but they couldn't help but stretch out their hands and let the blue butterflies stay on their fingertips. It was so dreamy. So beautiful. It is a romantic scene that makes people feel happy when they see it. They couldn't help but look at Xie Tingzhou and found that there were red, green, and yellow stars of various colors surrounding Xie Tingzhou's feet. One of them tried to kiss Xie Tingzhou's toes, but was squeezed away by other colors. The aggrieved one can only float at the end. So is this the world in the eyes of His Highness the Prince? As if suddenly dreaming, a minute later, everyone returned to reality, and the corners of Xie Tingzhou's mouth curled up slightly. This is human love. After listening to my music, they can't help but fall in love with me. Xie Tingzhou said, making the Lu brothers and sisters more aware of the power of this vampire prince. Lan Ruimen and Lin Yan then understood why the prince had never thought about destroying the world. In his eyes, humans are probably no more than cute little animals. No difference. As soon as Chu Dingshan came out, he couldn't help but look at Xin Yunqing. The love that just kept wanting to kiss His Highness the Prince's toes was yours, right? Accusing his brother with perverted eyes, Xin Yunqing felt that he had been wronged and refused 3 times in a row. No way. No way. It's not me. Thinking of that red, excluded love, how could it be me? Yeah, it must not be me. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 142. Everyone who followed Xie Tingzhou in the villa was very relaxed. Xie Tingzhou was not a workaholic. Naturally, he would lie down and rest after releasing a song. He would take everyone to have fun every day. They went to various places for enjoyment. In addition, he made a lot of money from lullaby. It can be said that everyone was relieved. I don't know why, humans in reality live a simple life, but vampires like Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui are getting more serious day by day. Finally, in October, the news could not be covered up, and huge information broke out internationally. After this news appeared, it directly rushed to the hot search in my country and occupied the first place on the hot search list. Hashtag vampire virus spreads all over the world. Hashtag this hot search looks terrifying. After clicking on it, it is a video. It seems that the person who filmed it is abroad. When he was walking on the road, a grey-faced man suddenly came out of the bushes and rushed towards him. After opening his mouth, the fangs in his mouth grew wildly, which looks like a horror movie. Fortunately, the person who filmed the video had a gun and shot the other person as quickly as possible. When the camera was pointed at the face of this person, it was discovered that the person's appearance was very similar to a vampire. The country knew that this virus was spreading abroad 2 months ago, and it had banned any foreign goods and any creatures from entering the camera 2 months ago. Now the entire country is in a completely closed state. Anyway, foreigners can't come back. At the same time, foreign embassies had already notified their citizens in advance to pay attention to safety. If they return to China, the embassy will also charter a plane. After all, the virus had spread abroad at that time, not just in M and Y countries. In addition to China, other countries have this vampire virus spreading. Anyone infected with this virus will look like white-gray or blue-gray, grow fangs, be bloodthirsty, and like to appear at night, like the vampires described in various TV dramas. When netizens saw this video, they thought it was a new special effects blockbuster at first. After all, the existence that looks like a vampire and a zombie is too scary. And why didn't this outrageous news get suppressed? Why did it suddenly break out? There is no way to deal with this. The people who were poisoned before were all out at night. Moreover, foreign countries are famous for their vast land and sparse population. It is normal for people to disappear at any time. No one thought about this at all. Only the vampires left abroad by the Vampire Association found something wrong and told the domestic side that it was a virus that could spread. This made the customs close quickly. Who knows where this virus came from? If all kinds of things can be transmitted to people, according to the population density in China, it can be said that a city will fall in one day. However, many netizens still don't believe this and leave messages below. The lover in the previous life, oh my god, is the world going to be destroyed? Is this really a vampire? Yuan Chuan, I want to see who still wants to fall in love with a vampire. Come and see what this vampire looks like. Who can kiss it? Liwa, the world is too fantastic. If there are even vampires, are there wolves? Then humans also have priests, right? Anyway, everyone said all kinds of things, but they just didn't believe that there were vampires in this world. After all, everyone had been educated in science for a long time. They might have some respect for the gods and ghosts, but it was impossible to believe them completely. But no one thought that this was true. That night, China's daily news officially reported the global spread of the disease, when all Chinese people were watching the news at home. A disease called #vampire virus is breaking out all over the world. The source of infection of this virus cannot be determined now. 2 months ago, my country had predicted the spread of the vampire virus in advance and blocked the customs. Before foreign countries have solved the virus, China will not open customs to any country. In order to protect the people, China has sent medical experts to study the virus. Now the world's most serious vampires are M, Y, R, H, and other countries. The number of victims of the virus is increasing every day. According to our investigation, the number of poisoned people worldwide has reached 40 million. Therefore, please give up traveling abroad recently and protect your own safety. The symptoms of the vampire virus are drowsiness, the skin turns blue-gray and white-gray, fangs grow, bloodthirstiness, likes to move at night, and some are afraid of light. After these news were sent out, everyone was shocked. This time, the entire hot search entry was occupied by vampires. Especially when there is no such disease in China for the time being, everyone hopes to isolate the virus outside. In the past 2 months, there were so many curses on the internet, saying that the customs would not be opened. Now they hope that the customs will not be opened in the next 2 years. In the next few days, some netizens climbed over the firewall to access the internet, and indeed saw all kinds of messy videos on the internet. #vampire patients invaded ordinary people's homes and the appearance of patients after the virus attack. It is no secret that they are now abroad. Only China felt that something was wrong in advance and closed its doors in time, which was considered to be escaped. However, even so, after the country announced the existence of such a disease, it still caused a huge sensation across the country. It is not uncommon to snatch food and hoard food. Fortunately, we had made all the necessary preparations before making this public. The country has a grain depot, so even if there is no trade with foreign countries, it can still be self-sufficient. Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui finally learned the news, and their faces were ugly, because ordinary humans did not know the seriousness of this matter, and just thought it was a virus, but this matter was obviously done by vampires, and it was very likely a huge conspiracy. No wonder the other vampires of the Vampire Association were sent out. It turned out to be because of this. Chu Dingshan called to inquire about Xin Yunking's current situation. Xin Yunking had returned to the police station to work, but Chu Dingshan stayed with Xie Tingzhou, and could report any news as soon as possible. Have you seen those foreign videos? The patients in them seem to have the symptoms of blood slaves. Blood slaves are like this, as if they have lost their minds. They will only suck blood, hurt other humans, and are contagious. Well, I have seen it, but it has nothing to do with us for the time being. Dingshan, the country has sent vampires to deal with this matter. This is a war that we humans cannot solve. What we can do now is to protect our country. Recently, people are very scared, so they always go to hospitals or pharmacies or even supermarkets to buy things. There have been several stampedes and car accidents. Xin Yunqing is also very busy. His infinite strength also came into play at this time. When several cars collided with each other in succession, he was able to lift a whole car by himself, which shocked everyone at the scene. In that car accident, Xin Yunqing saved more than 40 people at once and was a well-deserved hero. It was precisely because of this that Xin Yunqing was more grateful to Xie Tingzhou and knew that his strength was insignificant, but what he had to do now was those things within his power. Hearing this, Chu Dingshan felt much more at ease, but for the first time he felt that his ability to stay young seemed too useless. He couldn't do anything he wanted to do in many cases. And in Xie Tingzhou's villa, a special person soon came, Lu Kuei, a scientific researcher from the National Special Medical Department. Your Highness, hello, I'm Lu Kuei, a doctor. Due to the nature of his job, Lu Kuei did not shake hands with His Highness, but instead introduced himself seriously. Yes, Xie Tingzhou nodded. He felt as if he had thought of something. Lu Kuei did not beat around the bush and said directly. Your Highness, you must have known about the vampire virus that has spread all over the world. To be honest, there are already symptoms in China. Since the 2 months since the virus was discovered and the country was closed, all members of the Vampire Association in our country have been running around. Senior vampires have complete control over blood slaves, so there are already thousands of patients in the experimental base. I took the liberty of visiting you this time to ask Your Highness if there is any way to save these patients. As someone who has been studying vampire-related projects, Lu Kuei naturally knows that the symptom is very similar to blood slaves, but not blood slaves. There are no traces of vampire bites on each patient, but they have the symptoms of blood slaves, so it is called a vampire virus. The most important thing is that these humans who have become blood slaves still maintain their human bodies and have not turned into cold monsters, which means that this situation is reversible and treatable. The country has been studying this for 2 months and has thought of various methods. Most people believe that this virus comes from the blood of vampires. After all, the blood of vampires will rot after leaving the body. Then a special virus cultivation method is used to prevent the blood from rotting, and a super strong virus can also be produced. According to human medicine, this matter cannot be solved, which is why Lu Kuei came. He wanted to meet this vampire prince who could charm humans with music alone. He might have the ability to solve this problem. Xie Tingzhou listened to Lu Kuei's words in front of him, and a very small memory appeared in his mind, which made Xie Tingzhou remember what he had forgotten in his long life. It turned out to be the original owner. The original owner woke up in the coffin and found that he had become a vampire prince. He was soon contacted by some extreme vampires. The Vampire Association arrived a step late, and the original owner knew about the vampire virus plan. He only needed to turn all humans into blood slaves, and then use his ability to awaken these blood slaves step by step. By then, the whole world would be his dark empire. Oh! I remembered it. Oh my goodness! The villain who destroyed the world turned out to be me. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Jonghu Buletin. Chapter 143. To be honest, Sieting Zhou has experienced many worlds. Sometimes after being put into one, he will accept the memory of this body. But this time he woke up when he just became a vampire. At that time, he sighed about this matter. The so-called vampire emperor in the dark sounds good, but what's the fun? The top vampires are cold all over, without any temperature. If you want to do something yellow, that kind of experience, think about it yourself. Then the reason why humans have been living on the earth and have not been extinct for so many years is because humans are progressing, but most vampires either spend their lives in various attacks on humans and drinking blood in order to survive, sleep during the day, and move at night. Can this ensure the improvement of productivity and technological strength? At that time, Sieting Zhou thought that being a vampire was quite fun. After all, he was immortal and kept his youth forever. He had a lot of money and ability to bestow on his believers. At that time, everyone in the human world knew about Sieting Zhou's existence. Humans made this vampire prince a god because God always gave them more powerful power. That is, from the earliest barbaric era to the ancient human era, Sieting Zhou was so bored that he chose to fall into a beautiful dream. Now there are many people recorded in history, all of whom are humans that Sieting Zhou has seen and given gifts. Although Sieting Zhou is a vampire, he does not like the first embrace, nor does he like to transform humans into vampires, because if the whole world is full of vampires, the long life will make these vampires stop thinking. In tens of thousands of years of evolution, look at what humans are doing. Learning, progressing, and developing technology. Look at what vampires are doing. Wrapping themselves in darkness as a big villain, not working or working hard, just wanting to secretly attack humans for food, not thinking about making progress. Sieting Zhou hates such existence the most. Even if such a vampire has a long life, its life is meaningless. Now with the arrival of Lu Kuei, Sieting Zhou remembered the reason why he came to this world in the first place. The golden finger he wanted to recover was the super powerful ability of this vampire prince, that is, this body itself. After all, compared to other vampires that are not very powerful, Sieting Zhou, the vampire prince, is like a cheat. If he wants, he will try his best to turn all the humans in the world into immortal monsters, but what is the final outcome? The end of the species is to decline, and the spread of vampires will accelerate this progress. Thinking of the memory that all humans have become vampires and still suck blood, and then kill each other, no longer technological progress, wantonly destroying the world, and long life makes these vampires fight each other, and the final outcome can only be extinction. Sieting Zhou wants to draw a key point here: vampires and humans are species isolated, which is the so-called reproductive isolation. Vampires are living corpses and cannot give birth to children. No. There is only one ending if the whole world becomes vampires, and that is species extinction. Thinking of this, Sieting Zhou saw Lu Kuei's expectant eyes. Lu Kuei was a doctor who studied various pharmacology and virology. He had studied the blood, skin, nails, and hair of various vampires, but he had not been able to extract any abilities from such a magical species. Lu Kuei even studied werewolves. They were friendly guests from abroad. The guests generously left their blood and some werewolf things. However, the final research results found that compared with the situation where vampires were completely like rotten corpses, werewolves were more like humans. They would only be stimulated to transform into beasts on the night of the full moon, and their lives were similar to those of humans. Even because of the transformation, they were shorter than humans, and many died in their 50s and 60s. It can be said that any species seems to lose something equally precious when it gets something. Vampires have the ability to live forever and stay young, but they can only rely on blood to survive. Their bodies are rotten. Even if they have intimate behavior with humans, they don't have much chopsticks, and they can't have children. Werewolves have the ability to transform into beasts, so their lifespans are shortened and it is difficult to continue their bloodline. Humans are the fastest among species, and they have a large number of people, which may be the biggest reason why humans can occupy the earth. Your Highness, I brought a patient this time. I would like to ask you to see if this patient has been poisoned by a vampire. Our medical school's analysis shows that he has been infected with a super virus developed from vampire blood. Lu Kuei said, and asked someone to bring a patient in. After the patient came in, everyone was shocked. Chu Dingshan quickly covered his mouth, his face was pale, and he was too scared to speak. Although he always explored various horror houses, Chu Dingshan insisted that there were no ghosts in the world before, but now he saw that the patient's face was blue-gray, his mouth was open and his fangs were exposed, his eyes were also gray-white, and his nails were very long and black, looking no different from the zombies on TV. This is really scary. Lin Yan, Lan Ruimen, Lu Shifeng, and Lu Qinhui, the four vampires, also looked over instantly. Because of the inheritance, they were not afraid. After all, most blood slaves look like this, and they are irrational and very easy to control. Now this patient was being suppressed by the vampire's blood, so even if he was not tied up, he still stood there obediently. Xie Tingzhou just raised his head and took a look, and then he saw the virus in this patient. In the memory, the original owner also took out his own blood, causing the virus to mutate. This super virus did come from a vampire. It was a poison that a vampire cultivated on himself. After dilution, it has the ability to turn humans into invisible blood. Slave's ability. In fact, the human body still has temperature, but the behavior is like a blood slave, irrational, and can be controlled by a higher vampire, which is equivalent to a tool man. Xie Tingzhou remembered that after the original owner took out his own blood, the poison was directly transmitted through the air. Within a month, it spread all over the world, and then the original owner quickly became the king of the Dark Empire. Now Xie Tingzhou has woken up, but he did not meet those bad guys. Instead, he was discovered and taken away by Chu Dingshan and the others in advance. Therefore, those bad vampires jumped into the air and were killed by the Lu family brothers and sisters. Naturally, Xie Tingzhou did not join this world of destruction. Plan. So this is why the virus only spreads in some foreign countries, because there is a vampire association here in China. The lowest members of the vampire association are the last generation of vampires. They have the ability to control blood slaves and find blood slaves. In a short period of 2 months, within a few days, they searched the entire country, sent all poisoned humans to the experimental base, and began to develop treatment drugs. That's why the country is so safe. In China, the lives of the people are the first indicator. For this, it can be said that the Vampire Association, the military and the police have been extremely busy in the past 2 months. This is a toxin made from the blood of the vampire duke. It will turn people into blood slaves who are neither human nor ghosts. On the surface, people are still alive, but they have lost their minds and become a being whose combat effectiveness is not as good as that of a blood slave. That's right, Xie Tingzhou said this, making Lu Kuei on the side nod. Blood slaves are actually very powerful in combat. After transformation, their strength is at least 3 times stronger, so it is very difficult to capture them. But now these patients only have the symptoms of blood slaves and do not have any ability to improve their combat effectiveness. They just grow, it's just fangs and nails. It looks scary at best, but it's actually still a human being. It will die if shot by a gun. The most important thing is that the blood of blood slaves also volatilizes in the air, but the patient's blood is still red, and in fact, if they are not given blood to drink, they will not do anything. Therefore, the above believe that these patients are still human beings, and there is a need to save them? Yes, Your Highness, this patient looks like a blood slave on the surface, but in fact he is still a human being. His blood is red, his body is still warm, and his heart is still beating. Therefore, the country wants to save these poor victims. The Institute has been studying for 2 months, but there is still no sign of a solution to this virus. I heard about your existence and came here to beg you. I hope you will lend a helping hand to mankind. All citizens of China will thank you. Assistance. There is really no other way. Seeing that the virus outside is getting more and more crazy, if someone sneaks into the country and spreads to the country, it is unimaginable based on the population density of the country. This is why Lu Kuei came to beg the vampire. Because although Xie Zhou is a high-ranking vampire prince, he is relatively close to people, likes to tease humans, and is relatively salty. He is not the kind of ambitious being, so he is naturally welcomed by everyone. Before Lu Kuei came over, the top team of psychological experts in the country had analyzed the vampire prince, and the result was that there was a 90% chance of getting help from the vampire prince. From the gifts that His Highness the Prince has given to other human beings, it can be seen that he is not a careerist. Xie Zhou naturally has methods, and he is not very stingy in this regard. There is a way, but what price are you willing to pay? He smiled, his golden purple eyes sparkling and making people obsessed. When Lu Kuei heard this, he immediately knelt at the feet of this mysterious vampire. Please save those patients, the country will meet all your requests, and you will be a hero to all mankind. There are now thousands of people infected with the vampire virus. If it spreads, the consequences are unimaginable. Lu Kuei is willing to kneel down for these people. The heart of a doctor is naturally compassionate. Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui also looked over, actually expecting Xie Zhou to agree to save people, because everyone knew how terrifying this matter was. Tens of millions of people have been infected abroad. Fortunately, the country has been closed. If it were really infected at home, the consequences would be disastrous. Xie Zhou was very satisfied. After all, ordinary humans would not want to challenge a vampire prince. Xie Zhou was still willing to lend a helping hand to these lovely humans. He stretched out his left arm, and the nails on his right hand grew quickly, and then scratched his arm. A strong aroma instantly made people lose their minds, and they were so stunned that they couldn't move. The blood left Xie Zhou's body and turned into a small red ball automatically. Xie Zhou's arm automatically recovered from the wound, as if the wound had never appeared before, and the fragrance disappeared instantly. He handed over the red blood cell. This is the condensation of my prince's blood. After soaking in water and diluting it, it can bring these humans back to their senses. The most important thing is that this thing can also be recycled. Lu Kuei took the red blood ball with trembling hands, and immediately excitedly did what Xiongke wanted to do, and kowtowed several times to His Royal Highness crazily. On behalf of all mankind, I would like to thank His Highness the Prince for his help. You are mankind's most loyal friend. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 144. Lu Kuei took the blood cells condensed from Xie Zhou's blood and left. After all, he had been staying awake for 2 months in a row to save people, and the panic about the spread of the vampire virus in the country made him unable to sleep peacefully. He relied on Xie Zhou's song Lenpa was a little better. So now that I have obtained this blood cell that may save the world, I naturally rush to do follow-up research, hoping to treat these patients as soon as possible. Although the country is temporarily safe, some horrific news will spread back to the country from time to time, which makes people panic. Everyone is a little afraid in their hearts. At this time, Xie Zhou released another song. This one the song is called Anshan Song. This time, when the song was released, it was not only promoted by major music platforms, but also by the national team. In the daily news broadcast by Chinese people at 7 o'clock every day, 2 songs by Xieting Zhou were mentioned, saying that the vampire virus has recently caused an impact on everyone's lives and mental panic. You can listen to music appropriately to relax. Anthem song. It can also help everyone relax and no longer be afraid. In addition, people with insomnia can listen to lullaby, which is more effective than taking medicine. Since the outbreak of the virus abroad, major online media and domestic TV stations have been tracking and reporting on foreign illnesses. Now everyone is panicking. As a result, the country said that listening to music can cure panic. Are you kidding me? However, many people still believed in the country's arrangements and immediately asked their families to search for soothing song to play. This song is based on wind chimes and Xieting Zhou's humming as the theme. There is a long and stable feeling from ancient times. After listening to this, the things that were originally panicking in your heart seem to be touched cleanly by an invisible big hand, making you no longer afraid or fearful. The elderly have even discovered the effect of this lullaby. After all, as they get older, they are actually prone to insomnia. Probably because of the aging of their body organs, many elderly people cannot sleep at night and need to take sleeping pills regularly. To fall asleep, now, just by asking someone at home to play lullaby for them, they can fall asleep without taking medicine. Not only do they not need to receive medicine to erode their mental cells, but they also save money for their family. Xieting Zhou's songs are free to listen to, and membership is only required when downloading, but even so, major music platforms will give Xieting Zhou a share based on the number of clicks and downloads. Old people are all like this, not to mention middle-aged people who are under great work pressure and young people who are addicted to staying up late. At first, they didn't want to sleep, but then they couldn't. Now with lullaby, it takes less than half an hour after lying down. I will definitely fall asleep, and when I wake up the next day, I feel refreshed and extremely comfortable after having stopped vomiting. Such is the charm ability of a top vampire. He can already charm everyone with just his voice. If Xieting Zhou wants to do bad things, he doesn't need to turn the humans in this world into vampires. He just needs to use charm to control the minds of all the upper class people. Do this and become the uncrowned king of this world. But that would be quite boring. Unlike now, Xieting Zhou's fans on Weibo are increasing rapidly, and the love around him has changed from numerous blues to soft yellows. This love wraps Xieting Zhou, let him enjoy all kinds of beautiful scenery. Of course, lullaby and sleep song have also been trending on the internet, and netizens have praised these 2 songs very much. After all, it is a song that the country has stood up to express its awesomeness. After listening to it, everyone is really it's so useful. That's right. No one in their lifetime thought that they would use the word useful to describe a song. Most of them sound good and bad. Lulls and tranquility are completely out of this category. It is the kind that is indescribable. You cannot describe it in terms of whether it sounds good or not. It is an indispensable existence that people rely on. Now on all major music platforms, the number of plays of these 2 songs has doubled every day. Increasingly, everyone is repeating singles, which can be said to be like a dependence on drugs. Netizens on the internet even made jokes. Puxin girl, ha 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 ha, I never thought that one day I would be able to listen to music to treat illnesses. Now my whole family plays Anthem on a loop. I feel that even if the world ends tomorrow, I won't be afraid anymore, ha ha ha. Sunshine girl, everyone I meet now will say, come on, let me recommend a good thing to you. It is not the kind of music you will like to listen to, but music that will make you obsessed. Zixiao, to be honest, I never thought in my lifetime that a piece of music could cure everyone's restlessness and insomnia. If it were a drug, it would probably bankrupt everyone. Thank you Xieting Zhou, although his Weibo name is second rate and he is handsome, he is really good. Please continue to create. Mew, thanks to Lullaby for letting me get rid of the nightmare of not being able to sleep. I just want to say that Xieting Zhou is awesome. Anyway, everyone seemed to wake up from the panic after listening to the song, and one by one returned to their normal lives. The time came to December, and Xieting's whose song had become popular for a month, while Lu Kuei was nervously experimenting inside the room to see the final result. They have recently used a large reservoir to soak the blood cells of the vampire prince. Because Xieting Zhou is the first vampire prince that anyone has come into contact with, so before this, people had no idea how powerful the vampire prince was. And such a blood ball, after entering the reservoir, directly turned the entire reservoir water into a dreamy pink color. However, the more this happened, the less everyone dared to act rashly, fearing that the water was poisonous. As we all know, vampires' blood is poisonous. When vampires were first discovered in the early years, everyone had fought and captured many vampires. Some greedy people extracted the blood of vampires and drank it, and finally died suddenly. So these experiences are all from the past, accumulated by people. Vampires have all kinds of weird abilities, including immortality and eternal appearance, but that doesn't mean they won't die if they are injured, and this species won't reproduce, which makes humans less afraid, because humans are like weeds. Even though the wildfires are not burning out, and the spring breeze blows, the number of vampires is less than a fraction of that of humans. For example, now, the total number of people in the entire country of China is about 2.5 billion, but the number of vampires in the country is conservatively estimated to be no more than 50,000. Therefore, 50,000 vampires can deal with 2.5 billion people, and there are high-tech blessings. I really can't tell who will win and who will lose. Compared with the extremely arrogant behavior of vampires abroad, domestic vampires have their own fixed circles, have friends, and love the land under their feet more. That's why there are so many vampires in the Vampire Association, and they are even willing to go abroad to help deal with vampires abroad. Crime cases. Every time someone from abroad rents a vampire to the country, they have to pay an expensive fee, at least 3 billion at a time. All of this money is ultimately spent on the vampires of these vampire associations. After all, although they are vampires, it's not like becoming a god. You still need to eat, drink and have fun, and money is also necessary. At this time, looking at the patient in the ward through the glass, Lu Kuei had injected the newly developed antidote into the patient's body. This was already the first hour. He observed here. After 2 hours, the patient's white eyes returned to their original appearance, and then he saw his body and Lu Kuei outside, and he immediately reacted. Why am I here? What happened? Although the patient inside is still pale and green, he has obviously regained his consciousness. It seems that the medicine has taken effect. Don't worry, you are in a closed hospital now. You were sick before. We are doctors specially appointed by the state to treat you, Lu Kuei said with a microphone. The patients inside were still a little panicked after hearing this voice. As a result, a group of people came, wearing Chinese military uniforms. Seeing these soldiers, the patient immediately believed Lu Kuei's words. Dr. Lu, how is the patient's drug research going now? This person was none other than the general who had been on TV before. The patient was a person who often watched military channels and recognized this person's identity at a glance, so he became extremely obedient. The patient has regained consciousness and can undergo antidote injections with others. We need to observe how long it takes to fully recover. Lu Kuei was also in a happy mood, with a rare smile on his face. His hair had turned a lot gray recently due to hard work. After all, such a special virus was really afraid of spreading. Now that there is an antidote, everyone is naturally more relieved. That's good, Dr. Lu, thank you for your hard work. The general thanked Lu Kuei, but Lu Kuei asked. What arrangements are there for that vampire prince? He cannot be treated like an ordinary vampire. No one knows how powerful this vampire prince is, but it can be seen from the blood balls alone that he is a lot of troublesome people, so it is best to use him as a mascot. Of course we sincerely thank each other. In fact, we have already started to arrange to invite each other to a state banquet next month. All leaders will thank each other for their help. There are good and bad vampires. Although they are different species, they still live on the earth. Humans can inclusive of any species. In fact, I have read the various information on Xietingzhou over and over again countless times, and finally determined that this vampire prince is not just a salty fish, he has a good impression of humans, has the habit of keeping humans as pets, and has no determination to dominate the world. Some are even afraid of trouble and interruption. This is also the reason why after such a big thing happened, only Lu Kuei was sent to Xietingzhou. If possible, they all wanted to meet the legendary vampire prince, but in order not to disturb others, everyone settled down. I resisted my curiosity, but Tranquility and Lulpa are now being listened to by not only the whole country, but also the leaders above. Vampires have no ability to reproduce. As long as they don't cause trouble, everyone actually wants to live in peace with vampires. This vampire prince is very dear to his family. Everyone doesn't mind raising a mascot, just like raising a national treasure giant panda. Now all Xietingzhou's food, drink, housing, and transportation are contracted by the state, and he can enjoy any treatment he wants. After all, that's what the national treasure panda is, isn't it? The pro-human vampire prince is also the national treasure of their humans, no, the national treasure of their Chinese country. The vampire virus is going crazy outside now, and only China is living a peaceful life. Now that there is an antidote, I believe that an antivirus vaccine will be developed in the near future. What is this prince, if not a national treasure? Now the people above are eager to praise Xietingzhou to the heavens. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 145. It has to be said that the blood of the vampire prince is very capable of restraining vampires below his level. In the next month, thousands of patients in the ward have taken the medicine studied by Dr. Lu Kuei, and then gradually recovered. He regained his consciousness, and then the various physical symptoms gradually disappeared. For example, their skin began to change into human color again, for example, the fangs in their mouths shortened and became normal, for example, they no longer had bloodthirsty, began to eat normal human food, and were no longer afraid of light. According to scientific instruments, the physical condition of these people has even been further improved, that is to say, they are even healthier than before they fell ill. One of the old men's physical age was at least 10 years younger. This made Lu Kuei even more excited about the unique blood ability of this vampire prince, and this blood cell was in their laboratory. In fact, when treating these patients, Lu Kuei was rapidly developing vaccines, and even risked his own life and that of some researchers. To do an experiment. After injecting the drug, they let patients who had not been exposed to the antidote attack them before they could get the results. Shen Nong tastes 100 herbs. Doctors like them also have to take the lead at some point. Don't say why they don't let others experiment. Only when they experiment on themselves can they know how to conquer this virus. But now it is obvious that blood cells are the nemesis of these viruses. Just the water soaked in blood cells and injected into the skin will not let foreign vampire viruses infect them. This was a very exciting and shocking invention. After that, they quickly mobilized the water in the reservoir. Water continued to flow from the blood cells, and then the clean water turned into pink and dreamy water. This kind of thing, a potion that can prevent the vampire virus. Even after the human body is injected, the body's functions will undergo some rejuvenation. To put it bluntly, after the whole person receives this water, the medicine is integrated into the blood, the activity of the blood becomes greater, and the person becomes younger, so the person's state it would look so good that some of the people involved in the experiment literally had a makeover. Some people's bald spots have grown out, some people's previously poorly adjusted work and rest schedules suddenly got better, Some people had acne on their faces and now none of them are gone, and there are also scars that had been painful after surgery in the early years. It doesn't hurt anymore. Many circumstances showed that the blood corpuscles of His Highness the Vampire Sieting Zhou had a huge impact on human beings. While Lu Kuei reported it, he felt that he needed to tell His Highness the Vampire. After all, he had planned to return the blood corpus. When we met 2 months later, it was still Sieting Zhou's villa. Sieting Zhou was still surrounded by many people, most of whom were there to serve Sieting Zhou. Your Highness, the drug to treat the vampire virus has been successfully developed. People who were previously infected have recovered their consciousness and health. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to you on their behalf. Lu Kuei now has no gray hair on his head. He was already quite old. He was almost 60 years old and had been struggling with the virus. Half of the hair on his head was originally white, but now he is leading the way. After the white mouse, the white hair turned into jet black and thick black hair. Yes, Sieting Zhou had predicted this incident a long time ago and was not surprised. The reason why I came here today is to tell you that we originally planned to return your blood cells, but the vampire virus is still rampant abroad. In addition to closed management, no one has any measures against such viruses in China. Method: we have developed a vaccine using your blood cells, and it will be vaccinated nationwide within the next month, so it may take a while. Do you think it is okay? Lu Kuei clearly felt that the vampire prince in front of him must know the specific function of his blood cells, but humans have not yet discovered the side effects, but what can be seen in a short period of time now are benefits. Okay, Sieting Zhou was not stingy, and the blood cells could indeed benefit many humans. Hearing such an answer, Lu Kuei felt even more that the prince in front of him was an eclectic vampire, a vampire who was truly close to humans. Otherwise, how could he be so helpful to humans? Actually, your blood cells have many functions. They not only solved the problem of antidote to the vampire virus this time, but also provided vaccines. In fact, they are the water in which your blood cells have been soaked. I experimented with my own body and obtained your blood cells that can be transformed. The result of the human body. Lu Kuei did not intend to hide any information. In fact, he also understood that the vampire in front of him was definitely much more powerful than all of them humans. The blood of this prince naturally has the effect of prolonging life and lasting youth, but if you drink too much, you will die. Human beings have always been greedy existences. According to the rules of the world, since humans can reproduce and live, there is a lifespan limit. Lu Kuei, I hope you won't be greedy. The golden purple eyes fell on Lu Kuei. He was clearly talking about Lu Kuei, but he seemed to be talking about some people. Lu Kuei's heart skipped a beat and he smiled bitterly. Yes, Your Highness, thank you for reminding me. I will never let such a thing happen. Yes, excessive intake of pink potion will cause death. Everyone has seen this from animals. After previous vampire blood killed people, who would dare to drink vampire blood? The entire laboratory is full of Lu Kuei's people, and Lu Kuei naturally doesn't want this to happen. He can't control some greedy people outside. If these people are greedy, they will die. Sieting Zhou saw Lu Kuei's love, and the purple stars had even condensed into a small figure. Now he was surrounded by other loves in the middle, and his walking posture was almost sideways. He looked extremely proud. In addition, many leaders in our country know your identity and name. Since you have solved such a powerful vampire virus this time, we plan to arrange a banquet to invite you to participate. In fact, it is a state banquet held specifically for the magical species of vampires. After all, without Sieting Zhou, the vampire prince, there would be no antidote in the country. That's no need, the prince is still very busy. Sieting Zhou declined directly. He had had a state banquet, and when he had the almighty god of cooking system, he couldn't finish all the delicious dishes. Now I don't want to eat with those leaders. How boring. Such a great opportunity was rejected directly. It made Chu Dingshan feel very distressed, and then Xie Zhou found that his sleeve was pulled. Looking again, it turned out that it was Chu Dingshan's love that kept acting coquettishly, and he looked very aggrieved with the sleeve pulled. That's eating with the leaders, maybe we can take pictures then. If this is released, wouldn't it be honoring our ancestors? The two vampires Lan Ruimen and Lin Yan were actually very moved. After all, they were once human beings. Now they are happy to serve His Highness the Prince every day, but that is eating with the leader. Woohoo, I really want to go. It seems that after visiting the ancestral hall at home, one can start writing about their generation. Especially Lan Ruimen's family was somewhat patriarchal, so she was excited at the thought of being able to take a photo with the leader. Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui are the calmest. They have met too many people. Human life is only 100 years and fleeting. Therefore, they are not interested in high-ranking officials and generous salaries, let alone leaders. People are interested. I would like to take the liberty to ask, Your Highness the Prince, what do you mean when you say you are a little busy? Xie Zhou didn't hide anything and said directly. I plan to participate in a singing show these days. This is the first time someone has invited me to participate in a singing show, so I am not free. Ah, so you refuse to eat with many leaders just to participate in a singing show that may not be on the stage in the entertainment industry. If the leaders knew about it, they would probably vomit blood directly. Lu Kuei was also dumbfounded. He felt that the vampire prince in front of him was really as close to human beings as analyzed by the psychiatrist, and he was cute and cute. Sometimes he was even like a child, he liked to do things he liked. It doesn't matter. The banquet will be held during the day tomorrow. You can attend and then go to the singing show. Do you need me to say hello to the show team? If the higher UPS say hello, no matter what the nature of the singing program is, Xie Zhou will be praised in the end. No, the prince will just reluctantly go and have dinner with you humans. It seemed that he still didn't want to go, but as soon as these words came out, the love of several people around Xie Zhou suddenly pulled Xie Zhou's robe and acted coquettishly. When at home, this vampire always wears silk robes, available in various colors. Today, the vampire in black robes with long black hair is even more charming. If Lan Ruimen hadn't been a vampire now, he would have felt unable to resist the charm of this prince every day. The next day, a special car came to pick up and drop off, and it was very grand. The army was even dispatched. The red flag cars that were not seen before had the license plate 888. Xie Zhou took Chu Dingshan, Lin Yan, Lan Ruimen, and Xin Yunqing, who came over to eat after hearing the news, went to the banquet together. This banquet was really gorgeous. All the leaders you could see on the TV were there. They looked at Xie Zhou with grateful eyes, but they did not come forward to toast because of Xie Zhou's boredom. On the contrary, Lin next to Xie Zhou Yan and others were dragged into drinking a lot of wine, and everyone took photos together. Chu Dingshan even took selfies with every leader he wanted to take a photo with. This was something he had never dared to think about before. Sure enough, some fortune tellers are right. When you meet a noble person, your fortune will skyrocket. Chu Dingshan thought, his noble person must be His Highness the King of Qin, right? This night, Xie Zhou lay on the soft bed to rest for the first time in a long time. Several drunken lovers around him cuddled up against his waist. They leaned against Xie Zhou and fell silent in a very dependent manner. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 146. In the end, the program that Xie Zhou wanted to participate in was not held, because the Chinese New Year was approaching. The program team was short of staff, and the invited stars were short of time, resulting in the music program being held after the Chinese New Year. Xie Tingzhou was a little depressed, and was at a loss when Lan Ruoming and Lin Yan saw him. Finally, he asked Chu Dingshan for help. After asking Chu Dingshan proposed to take the prince to the amusement park to play, and watch fireworks at night, which was fun. Xie Tingzhou readily accepted this. When people around him were screaming at the toys in various amusement parks, Xie Tingzhou was very cold. If it weren't for his slightly raised corners of his mouth, who would think that this prince liked the amusement park? When night fell, the amusement park gave up the fireworks, and large patches of bright fireworks bloomed in the sky, making people feel dreamy. Lin Yan and Lan Ruoming also felt that the current life was like a dream, but Chu Dingshan made a wish towards the fireworks seriously, saying that he hoped to make a lot of money next year. After all, down-to-earth wishes are always easier to achieve. February is the Chinese New Year. Many people who work away from home return home to reunite with their families once a year. This year, fireworks are no longer prohibited. There are sounds of children setting off firecrackers everywhere. At night, you can see fireworks blooming all over the sky when you look up. Although the vampire virus incident scared everyone before, everyone still believes in the country. After all, as long as foreigners are not allowed to come to the country is safe. Everyone has heard Xie Tingzhou and Shen Chu. They are not so afraid of this virus. On the contrary, because of the emergence of the virus, they cherish the people around them more. The state machine is running fast, and time has finally come to the beginning of March, which is the time when people across the country will officially start their New Year work. At this time, the daily news of the national television station released the latest news. Our Medical Virus Research and Development Department has conducted research on foreign vampire viruses. After a long period of research, we have obtained a cure for this vampire virus. Please feel free to travel and work with peace of mind, Chinese people. In addition, our Medical Virus Research and Development Department has developed a special vaccine for vampire viruses. The name of this vaccine is Prince No. 1. After being injected with this vaccine, the physical condition of our residents will be improved, such as hair growth, acne removal, whitening, scar removal, and other effects. After experimental research, after being injected with this vaccine, the human body will be younger. According to expert research, the effect is at least 5 to 10 years younger. Our country will officially carry out free vaccination for all people in March, which will take effect from now on. Please go to medical centers in various places to sign up for injections. Each person can only be injected with one medicine. Too many injections may lead to death. Although there is no information that this drug can prolong life, it is true that you will be younger after injection. For many people, being able to be younger is already a very important thing. After the news was broadcast that day, various hotlines in various provinces were directly bombarded by residents. Please. This is a vaccine with a youthful effect. And the state will give you the injection for free. So everyone is so excited. Fortunately, in the previous month, although ordinary people were celebrating the New Year normally, the state machinery was running like crazy, so many vaccines were produced without sleep and sent to all parts of the country. I believe that in a short period of 1 month, all citizens will be able to receive such vaccines. On the internet, hashtag Prince No. 1 hashtag even became a hot search. Oh my god. There is such a good thing in the world, I love it, okay. Let alone other things like hair growth and whitening and acne and freckle removal, just the saying that it can make you 5 to 10 years younger is so legendary that many families with elderly people are eager to try it. The registration website has been directly stuck. Some people went to the health bureau and various medical institutions to queue up overnight, waiting to open the door for injections. This is destined to be an uneasy night for the Chinese people. Some of them are confused, some are questioning, and some are questioning. Laughing, oh, 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 I must go get the injection, for nothing else, just for the acne on my face. Lovers in the wind, am I the only one who wonders why the country has developed the antidote and vaccine for the vampire virus so quickly? 9 Leaky Fish, isn't this really a large-scale strategic research institute? How can there be such a vaccine in the world, and it was researched in our country? I love my family, the above 9 Leaky Fish mud triumphs. If you don't want to get the injection, let me do it, anyway. I will take the whole family to get the injection, and I will go tomorrow. So from the beginning of March, everyone rushed to get the injection. The people who got the injection on the first day had no effect. As a result, on the second day, the whole network was talking about their own situation after the injection. After the injection, one by one, they felt unprecedented relaxation in their bodies, and the stubborn diseases that had been in their bodies for many years actually improved. This thing is only given to you for free in China. If you go abroad, it is absolutely impossible to give it to you without charging you hundreds of thousands. The flood of injections continues to roar, and there are various effects after the injection every day. What Xieting Zhou has seen the most recently is that there are great changes after the injection. For example, a little girl was as dark as a loach, but after the injection, she became as white as a peeled egg. There are also those who were bald, but after the injection, black hair grew overnight. Some people were even burned before, and their scars began to recover after the injection, and finally returned to normal. Such a magical effect, no one dared to imagine before, but now they really saw it and enjoyed it. Recently, when Xieting Zhou looked into the distance, there were golden spots everywhere. These humans did not know that this drug was provided by Xieting Zhou, but they were instinctively grateful to the country and the appearance of this drug, which naturally made Xieting Zhou see a lot of golden love. In fact, some bad things happened in the middle. After all, there are always some greedy people who are greedy, but the final result needs to be borne by himself, and no one can be responsible. The country is also very busy. When arranging vaccinations in China, it has negotiated with various countries. From the beginning of the vampire virus to its spread, except for China where no one was poisoned, other so-called freedom-loving places abroad have all become places where the vampire virus spreads, and there are also high-level vampires leading these blood slaves to attack the residences of various leaders. It can be said that hot weapons have been used abroad, but not many have been reported. It is always easier for people to see world peace in the news, and when the vampire virus spread abroad, the antidote tested by China became the focus of other countries in the world. China has a vampire association that specializes in managing these vampires, so all countries think that the Chinese must have conducted some experiments on vampires to obtain the drugs. They did so, but there is no result so far. In the end, each country can only exchange benefits for drugs. This time, the right to speak is in the hands of China, so the negotiations are naturally very smooth. A customs joint was specially opened to transport drugs, and they exchanged hundreds of billions of dollars in profits and various channels. As for those countries asking whether to arrange for the Vampire Association to help their countries, the domestic people all said that we sympathize with you, but our country is not safe. The staff of the Vampire Association have to protect the people in the country, and they really have no time to go abroad. In the end, these people could only return in defeat, and in a month, under the action of the huge state machine, the country's 2 billion people successfully completed the vaccination in a month. This seems to also represent that humans may have a new round of evolution. Lu Kuei came to Xieting Zhou once, talking about some transactions with foreign countries. Naturally, he borrowed blood cells. It's not that he is unwilling to return them, but the benefits of this blood cell are really huge now. Xieting Zhou doesn't care for the time being. After all, the arrangements are very good. Professionals pick him up, play with him, and work with him. As long as Xieting Zhou wants something or wants to go somewhere, he will get the green light at the first time. It can be said that such a salted fish life is quite satisfactory for Xietingzhou. Maybe he was too tired in his previous life. As a vampire in this life, Xietingzhou learned to lie down. It has been 2 months since the last time he released a song, and Xietingzhou has not released any new songs. Lullaby and Sedative are still the most played and downloaded songs in China every day. It can be said that he has created a legend in the music industry. As expected, the music program team invited Xietingzhou again, but originally invited him to be a student. As a result, after seeing the amazing download and playback volume of Lullaby and Sedative song in the past 2 months, they directly invited Xietingzhou to become the mentor of this program. Xietingzhou also thought it was good. After all, it was good to appreciate other people's performances. So Xietingzhou agreed to participate in this program. Chu Dingshan, Lin Yan, Lan Ruoming, and others could only follow them to record the program. Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui had new jobs recently and were too busy to come. A group of 4 people, plus the people sent by the above, came to the program called I Am a Big Singer. I Am a Big Singer is a variety show made by Tang Lei, a famous variety director in the industry. The main content of the program is that the singers sing, and then several mentors sit there with their backs to the students. If they are moved by the students singing, they press a button and turn around. This is a very novel variety show. The program team invited 4 mentors. Except for Xietingzhou, who debuted for half a year, the other 3 are well-known music masters in the industry, including music producer Liang Fei. Liang Fei was so happy when she saw Xietingzhou. "Tingzhou, you are also participating in this program." "I originally refused, but when I heard that you were coming, I immediately agreed to the director. This is your first time recording a variety show, and it is also my first time recording. We are all together. Good man, he has a golden finger." Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 147. The arrival of Xietingzhou really shocked the entire program team. After all, they had seen the hot search of #Sleeping Beauty before and had seen Mr. Can't help but be attracted. In particular, Mr. Xie's skin seems to glow in the sun, making people unable to help but look at it more. And his radiant golden purple pupils make it impossible to see any traces of contact lenses. It's shocking. However, when doing a variety show, the instructors will not be required to be too bland. On the contrary, Xietingzhou's appearance and his experience of becoming popular all over the country within 6 months of his debut will bring a unique freshness to everyone. This was Tang Lei's first thought when he saw Xietingzhou, so he thought it was the best thing for him to find such a handsome guy to participate in the show. "It's my first time to participate in such a program, and I'm very happy." Xietingzhou was still very considerate to Liang Fei, and chatted with Liang Fei. After a while, a man and a woman came over. The woman had already painted a delicate makeup. Men also wear makeup. Compared with the natural beauty like Xietingzhou, the makeup on the faces of these 2 people is particularly clear. However, they are both veteran singers in the music industry and do not rely on their appearance at all, so they are extremely enthusiastic. "Sister Liang, is this Xietingzhou who wrote Tranquil Song and Lulpa?" "Sister Liang, why don't you introduce me?" Zhang Jingjing said. As a famous female singer in the entertainment industry, she has contracted various theme songs and interludes for all idol dramas and fairy tale dramas in the past 10 years. She is proficient in various styles and creates according to her personal preferences. Her status in the music world can be said to be queen level. "Oh, look at me, I was so excited when I saw Tingzhou that I didn't bother to introduce him to you." Liang Fei reacted immediately and introduced to Xietingzhou. "This is Zhang Jingjing, a big singer. I have worked with her since she first debuted. Tingzhou, she is just like you, very talented in composing songs. You will definitely have a lot to talk about. After all, it's all about love." Musical people, so Waste feels like everyone is easy to get along with. The other person is Dong Surin. He is also a singer who is very good at composing songs. He is an old man I have worked with. He is good at sad emotional songs. Every time he releases a song, he is the kind that can make people cry. You guys, you can also share your creative experiences later. Liang Fei is a smart person, so she naturally feels that Xie Zhou is not like a small artist with no background, so she is very respectful. The people she introduces to Xie Zhou now are obviously famous stars in the industry, but she is still very respectful. Affinity. Zhang Jingjing and Dong Surin are not fools. After all, can they offend the singers who are officially promoted and the creators of songs that have been broadcast on the news network? The two of them really like music and creation, so they understand even more how exquisite these two pieces of music are, and the most exquisite thing is Xie Zhou's humming, which seems to have magic, bringing people into the music. Zhang Jingjing and Dong Surin, both of them tried humming, but they just didn't have the charm. Hello, Mr. Xie Zhou, I am Zhang Jingjing. If I have any works in the future, can I invite you to taste them together? Zhang Jingjing was very enthusiastic, and Dong Surin also spoke. I admire Anshan Song very much. I didn't expect the creator to be such a young person. Like Sister Liang, I will call you Tingzhou. After the program team finishes recording the program, we will all have dinner together and discuss music. Xie Tingzhou felt the kindness of the two people. There was green love representing life and art surrounding him. Xie Tingzhou could feel that the two people really liked music. Okay, he agreed, and the group of people left. In this program recording, Xie Tingzhou is the perfect vase. Although he is very capable, he only has 2 masterpieces. He can become a mentor within half a year of his debut. After the broadcast, people will inevitably gossip on the internet. Tang Lei has already figured this out. I told Xie Tingzhou, but he didn't care. After several people got to know each other, the recording of the program began. The 4 people sat on the rotating chairs prepared by the program team as arranged. Lin Yan and Lan Ruimen were all watching from behind, including Chu Dingshan, who was still the first. He was a little excited to see so many celebrities at once, and under Xie Tingzhou's care, he took photos with many big stars, which made him extremely happy. Now Chu Dingshan still manages his own live broadcast room, such as posting some photos, or live broadcasting at amusement parks, and various live broadcasts of following Xie Tingzhou to play. Unexpectedly, these alone have made Chu Dingshan gain a lot of fans. His appearance changed from 28 years old to 18 years old, and he was so young that he could pinch water. Netizens even called it a head transplant. No one thought anything was wrong. Apart from thinking that Chu Dingshan was more handsome, they thought that the live broadcast filter was turned up. After all, the internet is virtual, and there is no problem with PP pictures. After everyone agreed, Chu Dingshan posted the photo on Weibo and once again gained fans. And the recording of the program has finally begun. With the director's words in the headset, the recording officially begins. The host came on stage. Welcome everyone to watch our program. I am a big singer every Saturday night at 8 o'clock on time. This is the latest singing program and invites the most powerful music composer Liang Fei in the industry. The most famous love song in the industry, Dong Surin, the king of music, and Zhang Jingjing, the queen of creation. The last one is the singer who has become popular on the internet and is always in demand. Welcome these 4 mentors. Come to our show. Along with the host's introduction, the camera will give a close-up of each instructor. When the final close-up was placed on Xie Tingzhou's face, his face that seemed to have been carved by God directly made the entire recording scene exclaim. Wow! So handsome! Wow! Yes, although the show was recorded for the first time, there were still many viewers. They all came because of their love for music. Most of them were students from major music universities. Now I saw Xie Joe looking so cool. Face, and then facing those golden purple eyes, who wouldn't do it on the spot? Huge cheers suddenly filled the recording studio, making Liang Fei laugh. After all, Xie whose appearance is such that he can succeed without talent. If God gave such a face to other male stars in the industry, they would definitely not work hard on writing music. 2 songs after half a year of debut. I guess I will go to film, TV series and commercials early to earn money. Xie Joe has been out for half a year. Apart from occasionally posting about his daily life on Weibo and 2 songs on major music platforms, he has not participated in any activities or commercial shootings. Many young people are unable to do this alone. Soon, the program entered the next step amidst the cheers of everyone. Then let's invite the first contestant on today's stage to see if these 4 mentors will turn around for his singing. Let's invite the first contestant Xie to appear, and he will bring everyone a classic healing song, the song Deep Sea. The entire studio fell silent instantly, and then the gentle and delicate prelude sounded. With this prelude, the singer came out from behind, and he was a young idol. This little idol has been debuting for 2 years this year. He is 20 years old. He was not an instant hit when he debuted at the age of 18, but he has become famous in the entertainment industry. Now he is inserted into this show by his manager. He was originally I was very happy, but I was very unhappy when I heard that the program team invited a person who had only released 2 songs for half a year to be a mentor. Both of them have a surname of Xie, but their treatment is very different. He gained millions of followers in one night, and later became popular all over the country with his 2 songs, and even had more than 10 million followers on Weibo. However, he has been busy for 2 years and has only 1 million followers. 2 million, participating in various variety shows and programs, but he was extremely busy and only had 5 million fans. Xie felt disgusted, so he never listened to Xie whose music. Xie was very jealous of such a lucky person. Standing on the stage, he calmed down, and then sang the song Deep Sea with a gentle voice along with the accompaniment. Deep Sea was originally a song with redemption, but under Xie singing, it seemed as gentle as the lover's whisper completely lost the sense of redemption, and it also changed its tone, so it sounded even more subtle. Liang Fei frowned and didn't like it very much. Zhang Jingjing also thought it was ordinary. Dong Suren thought it was good to change the song to express feelings. Only Xie Joe frowned, as if he thought it was pollution. Looking at his feet again, he saw that the little black man was rushing towards the toes of his shoes, and then tried hard to pat Xie whose feet. Then he was driven away by the other colorful love. There was only a trace of black surrounded by many colors, unable to move, which was a bit pitiful. It's a human emotion, jealousy. Don't doubt that jealousy is also an expression of love, but people often think that jealousy is wrong. But sometimes, love is possession, jealousy, dedication, selfishness, all kinds of good and bad are love, but they are different kinds of love. That's all. When Xie song was about to end, Dong Suren chose to turn his chair and turned his head to see the beautiful face of this little idol. Zhang Jingjing also heard the voice of a young man singing and chose to turn around to save face. After a song ended, the 2 instructors turned around for Xie while the remaining Liang Fei and Xie Joe still had their backs to the stage, causing Xie jealousy to fight crazily with those other colors of love, fierce but unable to defeat them. There are 2 mentors on the scene who turned around for Xie. Contestant Xie will enter the to-be-determined area for the rematch. Only 3 mentors turn around at the same time can they advance. So what do the 2 mentors who turned around for Xie want to say to this player? Woolen cloth. The host was interviewing, Dong Suren and Zhang Jingjing were both in the music scene, so they naturally had to encourage newcomers, otherwise it would be pointless to have the same people in the music scene all the time. After the praise was over, the host asked the person involved, Xie Xia Yuchen thanked Dong Suren and Zhang Jingjing, but said something that no one had time to reflect on. I also want to ask teacher Xia Tingzhou, why didn't you turn around for me? Teacher Xia Tingzhou debuted for half a year and only played 2 songs. Does teacher Xia Tingzhou think he is suitable to sit in the position of teacher? Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 148. Xia Tingzhou, who had his back to the stage, raised his eyebrows when he heard this. He didn't expect that. He had no intention of embarrassing others, but he ended up being embarrassed. The so-called contestant Xia Yuchen was specifically chosen to be a soft persimmon. Seeing that the youngest mentor this time and the one with the least experience in the entertainment industry was Xia Tingzhou, he took the initiative to mention Xia Tingzhou. Of course, Xia Yuchen remembered that he had nothing to do to go to the fan group, and found that the fans in the fan group were praising Xia Tingzhou for his good looks, which made him feel even more uncomfortable. This is why he couldn't help but argue. It would be fine if the other mentors didn't turn around for him, but after half a year of debut, and he could be regarded as his senior, this Xia Tingzhou was so ignorant that he still didn't turn around, which was simply ungrateful. Xia Tingzhou pressed the turn button and turned around. The camera fell on his face. When it was projected on the big screen, the crowd once again let out crazy exclamations. After all, who can do this in such a way? How about staying rational in the face of beauty? Xia Yuchen, who was standing on the stage, felt inexplicably bored when he saw this face. Some people are just born with good luck, and it doesn't matter if they are good looking. Moreover, they can become famous across the country through 2 songs. Sure enough, people are more infuriating than people. Liang Fei on the side also pressed the button and turned around, and the atmosphere at the scene began to solidify. Tang Lei did not expect that the player he chose would embarrass Xia Tingzhou from the very beginning. Because your singing is very ugly, extremely ugly. Are you satisfied with this answer? Xia Tingzhou's calm, unwavering voice sounded, and his golden purple eyes fell on Xia Yuchen, making Xia Yuchen stiff, but at the same time, he felt an uncomfortable feeling in his heart, and then he gritted his teeth and said, "Why do you say that? Teachers Dong Suren and Zhang Jingjing just praised my music, and you just said this to me. Do you think your behavior is appropriate? And you have been sitting in the position of mentor for half a year after your debut. You don't know how to do it. Do you feel ashamed? The entertainment industry is also a place where seniority is earned." Xia Yuchen always wants to say hello to any big actor or the like he sees, so Xia Yuchen is envious and jealous of this person who looks to be about the same age as him sitting with the seniors in the industry. Why should I be ashamed? My music is indeed better than yours. The lyrics and original rhythm of the song Deep Sea should be about self-salvation, right? You changed this song into a sad ballad, and sang I think it taints the sentimental flavor of this piece, isn't it right? Or do you think you should sit here? Xia Tingzhou didn't feel that he was being provoked. He just analyzed the music-related matters seriously, and Liang Fei on the side also spoke. I think teacher Xia is right. I didn't turn around for you because you obliterated the meaning of deep sea. I think you didn't understand the birth of this song when you chose it. When you first wrote this, the creator of this song is a good friend of mine. He was suffering from severe depression at the time. There was great pressure to survive in the entertainment industry and great pressure to create. He had been taking medicine and seeing a doctor. In the process of illness and self-salvation, the song Deep Sea was born. Once it came out, it was liked by many people. This is a patient's self-salvation. If you change it into a love song, you are tainting the song. Moreover, I want to tell you, the song Deep Sea saved many people, but my friend still left me. This was his last work before his death, and it is his legacy. Liang Fei explained the origin of this song to everyone seriously. After all, her friend passed away, but the song he left behind is still a classic. Moreover, the copyright belongs to the company and will be authorized for others to use. However, such a casual adaptation is Liang Fei didn't turn around. If a piece of music erases all its original meaning, then the piece of music will naturally have no meaning and value. Xia Yuchen was stunned when he heard this. The song was chosen by the company and the music was adapted by the company. He just chose to sing it on the stage. He really didn't expect that there were so many things behind this song. When he chose this song, it was just because it sounds good. His embarrassed expression immediately told Liang Fei that he didn't understand the song Deep Sea at all, and he didn't even know the origin of the song. I just thought this piece of music was very good, so I made the arrangement. I just felt that this piece of music suited a more gentle style. He defended himself, but Xie Tingzhou spoke. Contestant Xie Yuchen, you just asked me why I was able to sit here. I can tell you now. As he spoke, he looked at the assistant aside and told him to play music. Next, everyone heard the accompaniment of Deep Sea, which was completely unmodified. Xie Tingzhou had just listened to this piece before, so at this moment, when he opened his mouth, the melodious and low voice sounded. The entire recording hall fell silent. It was like sinking into the deep sea, and then trying to move forward timidly from the depths. After Xie Tingzhou finished his song, everyone fell silent. Chu Dingshan, who was in the audience, was already in tears. Looking at the audience around him, they all had red eyes. It is the feeling of redemption, it is the madness and redemption of feeling the deep despair, and then trying hard to catch the last light, finally breaking through the darkness, and jumping out from the bottom of the sea. Even the host on the stage had red eyes, not to mention Liang Fei, Dong Suren, and Zhang Jingjing, who had a deeper understanding of music. The three of them didn't care about their makeup and looked very embarrassed with red eyes. Liang Fei, in particular, thought of her deceased friend while listening to this song, and cried very embarrassedly at this time. Even Xie Yuchen, who was standing on the stage and originally provoked Xie Tingzhou, had red eyes and didn't say a word, looking pitiful. Xie Tingzhou's voice gave the song a different kind of magic, making people deeply feel the true state of mind when this song was created, making you unable to help but fall into sadness and feel the joy of being redeemed, and the whole audience was silent. All around was floating deep blue love, floating slowly, just like everyone's current mood. Xie Tingzhou waited for everyone to recover before continuing. Respect creation, this is why I sit here. As soon as this sentence came out, the audience welcomed excited applause. Everyone clapped wildly with red eyes, because they felt the charm of the music invading the soul at once, and people couldn't help but follow the pain and redemption in the music, so they couldn't help but applaud. The applause lasted for a long time, and it stopped after a long time. Xie Yuchen on the stage finally cried, his tears poured out, and then he bowed deeply to all the mentors. I'm sorry. I didn't understand the meaning behind this song, I just chose it because I thought it was good. It's my fault. Teacher Xie, you are the most qualified person to sit here, you are a real musician. Only those who make music can feel the difference. When the man in front of him spoke, Xie Yuchen felt a huge difference between the two people. He sang just to show off and to get everyone's likes, but Xie Tingzhou's singing fully expressed the song, giving it a different soul, and allowing the listeners to fully feel the soul of the creator. Generally speaking, ordinary listeners will not resonate with the creator of the song, but at this moment, everyone at the scene felt the warmth of the soul of the creator of Deep Sea, how he suffered from illness, and how he encouraged himself to stand up and be reborn. It seemed that everyone touched this person's soft and strong soul all of a sudden. Liang Fei cried with red eyes, and said after wiping away her tears. Tingzhou is of course the best musician, otherwise he would not have made the two songs Sedative and Lullaby. Today, Tingzhou's Deep Sea seems to make me feel the feeling of my friend again. I believe everyone can feel that this is the greatest meaning of the existence of this song. Even if my friend is no longer in the world, People can still feel his soul through music. After she finished speaking, she turned her head and looked at Xie Tingzhou. Tingzhou, thank you for letting me touch my friend's soul again. I am really grateful. These words were spoken sincerely, and Xie Yuchen on the stage showed a shameful expression and thanked him again. At this moment, the audience below were all in tears, and even the producer Tang Lei's eyes were red, because no one had ever heard such a song. It seemed to penetrate your soul and let you feel the warmth of other people's souls. In the end, Xie Yuchen went down to the waiting area. However, it seems that after this incident, the contestants in the mall are like little lambs, singing obediently and listening to the teacher's comments obediently. One of the little girls sang a song that was very penetrating, so Xie Tingzhou chose to turn around for her at the beginning, which made this contestant very happy afterwards. The program was finally recorded. Lin Yan and Lan Ruoming were worried that Xie Tingzhou would be embarrassed and unhappy, but they didn't expect that His Royal Highness was not only not unhappy, but also exchanged contact information with the contestants in the program. Xie Yuchen came to apologize to Xie Tingzhou privately again. He bowed 90 degrees, and this time he was very sincere. His originally black love turned into a fiery red, and his eyes were glowing when he looked at Xie Tingzhou, and he was cautiously afraid of being rejected. I will love music more in the future, Xie Tingzhou said, and Xie Yuchen nodded with red ears. The two of them looked relieved. A month later, in April, I Am a Big Singer officially entered the promotion period. Xie Tingzhou's face directly hit the target, and I Am a Big Singer directly rushed to the top of the hot search list. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Zhanghu Buletin Jian. Chapter 149. Xie Tingzhou's face is one that you can't forget once you see it. His black, silk-like hair sticks to his body snugly, and his milk-like skin becomes even more beautiful against the backdrop of such black. It's more vivid and three-dimensional, not to mention the golden purple eyes that Xie Tingzhou has, which will make your heart skip a beat when the camera sweeps over them. You know, the most scary thing in the entertainment industry is not being remembered or cursed. The most scary thing is that no one remembers you. Obscurity is the biggest pain to this profession. When the promotional video of the program team appeared, everyone was fascinated by Xie Tingzhou's appearance. After all, when they first saw this relative, it was because of his beauty. Now the way he moves, he is like a god descending to earth. Those golden purple eyes are untainted by dust and look at you without any fluctuation. You have the urge to kneel down and surrender. In this way, netizens are almost eagerly waiting for the broadcast of the program group. They are simply excited. Xie Tingzhou is on the hot search again. This time he has exceeded 20 million fans. Compared with some fake fans, Xie Tingzhou's most of the fans came here after listening to his music, so they occasionally exchange trivial matters on Xie Tingzhou's Weibo, which can be said to be lively. After the recording of the last program, Xie Tingzhou once again took a rest and rested directly at home. He took Lin Yan, Lan Ruimen, and Chu Dingshan to eat, drink and have fun, and occasionally did some exciting activities, such as bungee jumping. There was a rope tied around his waist, but Xie Tingzhou didn't use it at all. The moment he landed, he could fly away easily. Fortunately, we were doing this within the scope specially prepared by the country. Normally, we would be really scared to death. And taking advantage of this time, Xie Tingzhou also went skiing. Even though it was already April, there were still ski resorts in China that were covered with snow all year round. He flew directly there on a special plane. Xie Tingzhou wore a red antique robe selected by Lan Ruimen. Her long hair was tied into a high ponytail, and the way she flew across the flawless snow was like flying with a sword. Xie Tingzhou was not afraid of the cold, and probably all vampires were not afraid of the cold. Only Chu Dingshan was wrapped into a rice dumpling and had a cold for 2 days after playing. At the end of April, I Am a Big Singer was successfully launched. According to the requirements of the program team, Xieting Zhou also forwarded the promotion on Weibo. Then at the end of this month, both Xieting Zhou and Xia Yuchen rushed to the hot search. What happened before? Xia Yuchen's company originally wanted to delete this paragraph. After all, it was very bad for the artist's image, but in the end, Xia Yuchen persuaded him, and he seemed to have an idea. After the recording of the program, he kept following the relationship between the two mentors is good. I have been writing a piece of music recently and will give it to everyone for guidance after I finish it. Xieting Zhou also received it and felt the sincerity of the other party. In the program, Xia Yuchen's behavior of picking a soft persimmon and pinching it was in the first episode, which made netizens frown after watching it. Gasudongnian, Xia Yuchen actually changed my favorite deep sea into this. I am really speechless. Lucky, I just want to say, what a guy. I only picked the soft persimmons. Xieting Zhou has just debuted for half a year, but 2 of his songs are still on the charts. What kind of resume are you thinking about when I say this idol? Do you feel that since you debuted 2 years longer than Xieting Zhou, you should be the senior? Zixiao, but no one really thinks that Deep Sea is better when sung by Xieting Zhou than the original one? As soon as this was said, everyone below agreed with the voice, and said that they had not left a message just now, but were listening to Deep Sea. In the past, many people who were sensitive to music would feel the same when they heard Deep Sea. The kind of emotion in the song, but now that it is sung by Xieting Zhou, the emotion in this song has been directly brought into play to 100%, allowing you to truly experience the kind of redemption, like the singing and crooning of a mermaid, making you really fall in love with the handle. The program team also quickly released the song on major music platforms. Within 3 hours, Deep Sea became a hot search topic in the middle of the night, and it was also mentioned as a topic by 2 artists named Xiet. The ratings of the show are rising even more. The more this happens, the more people know about their show. Although Xia Yuchen was scolded, he still has fans, and the fans will scold him back, and so on the next day. At that time, there was also a war of words. The main reason is not that Xia Yuchen's fans are quarreling with Xieting Zhou's fans. Xieting Zhou's fans are still considered Buddhists. Basically, they will say whatever they say. Do you have the ability to let your idol write a song recommended by Central News? This is really heartbreaking. How should I answer it? No way to pick it up. However, passers-by came over and taunted him, causing Xia Yuchen's fans and passers-by to scold him. Then at 7 o'clock in the morning, they saw Xia Yuchen's Weibo post. Not only did he apologize, but he also said that he had worked hard to follow Xieting Zhou. I would like to learn more about music and would like to express my gratitude to teacher Xieting Zhou for his teachings. I am very sincere. The fans were silent now. After all, Xia Yuchen apologized on the show, and then apologized on Weibo in real life. It was very sincere, and everyone would not be in trouble with a 20-year-old. In this way, Xieting Zhou's Weibo once again increased to 30 million followers, and it was mid-May. This feeling of being held up by everyone as a national treasure is really good, and Xieting Zhou feels very comfortable. Soon Lan Ruimen received an invitation from the famous domestic menswear magazine YS Magazine, specifically inviting Xieting Zhou to be the photographer for their next physical menswear magazine. You know, a male star who has only debuted for a year, has released 2 songs, and only participated in 1 show, can be included in such a magazine. If he is an ordinary star, his ancestors' graves will really be smoking. After all, there are barriers between the fashion industry and the entertainment industry, and the fashion industry prefers aloof existence. Xieting Zhou's existence is like this, giving people a mysterious and aloof feeling, especially those golden purple eyes, which are extremely exciting. Such a noble color is enough to make people's hearts flutter. But but this magazine, it. In front of His Highness the Prince, Lanruimen, a girl, really didn't know how to describe the value and significance of the existence of this magazine. Although she was very famous in the circle, it really made people feel strange. What happened to it? Xieting Zhou was a little curious. However, Lin Yan did not hide it and said directly. This magazine started by selling male celebrities' sex, so the photo shoot might be a bit revealing. That's right, this thing is a living sex change version of Playboy, except that all the beauties on it have become handsome guys. However, the photographer is also very good, and the photos he takes will not feel vulgar at all, but will make you feel the kind of beauty that is enough to make your heart beat when you see it. Are you really going to shoot this? If this is sold, everyone will have a copy. And with your appearance, wouldn't you be taking advantage of your fans if you shoot this? Chu Dingshan couldn't help but remind him. After all, this matter really sounded a bit weird. Xieting Zhou had come to the entertainment industry in countless ways, but he really never thought that His Highness the Prince would go there for humanity. Shoot, that kind of photo? Anyway, Chu Dingshan had seen this kind of magazine from his classmates before, and the pictures he took were quite beautiful. Boys would say F***ck when they saw them. If His Highness took pictures of this, he would be able to let everyone see his beauty. Hey, it's weird. Human beings are obsessed with beauty. Even I, the prince, only like beautiful people. This is not a shortcoming. Besides, what I have, why can't I let everyone see it? Xieting Zhou takes it for granted, he just wants to do something he has never done before, and he feels like a child throwing a tantrum. In the end, Lan Ruimen had no choice but to agree to be photographed by YS Magazine. On the day of the shooting, they went to the studio and shocked the photographer. Because in addition to Xieting Zhou's golden purple eyes, there were 4 pairs of red eyes looking at him. When he saw the strangeness, he was a little scared, but he soon realized that these were colored contact lenses, so there was nothing to be afraid of. The theme of today's shooting is perfume. The main feature of this perfume is nothing else but one word: expensive. Photographer Zhang Song continued talking about this perfume, which is studded with diamonds on the outside and has a unique fragrance on the inside. I designed several plans, Ting Zhou, which one do you like? I was inspired instantly after watching your program, and the name of this perfume is Charm. You have to show that it can the joy it brings to people. Xieting Zhou looked down at several plans and thought the designer was quite good. Xieting Zhou was extremely calm during the next shooting, which made the other 4 vampires confused. Yes, Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui also came today. The 4 vampires looked at Xieting Zhou's shooting and didn't know what to say for a moment. What? When the filming was over, Xieting Zhou was the calmest, and Lu Shifeng couldn't help but give a thumbs up. It was the first time I saw a vampire act so openly, and I admire him. At the end of May, YS Magazine officially announced the theme shooting of this issue of the magazine. The short video released became a hot search at the fastest speed in history. In just 10 minutes, hundreds of thousands of people had already left comments. Only seen in this short video shoot. The first picture shows Xieting Zhou with his back to everyone, his whole person submerged in beautiful jewelry, his hair randomly scattered, revealing his fair back, and you can even see where the jewelry spreads, clearly visible at the waist. When he slowly turned his head and looked at you with a pair of golden purple eyes, you were involuntarily tempted and tried to sink under his feet. The second scene is of white snow all over the ground. Xieting Zhou is lying casually on the snow wearing a red silk nightgown. His black hair freely outlines beautiful arcs on the snow. The exposed skin is simply like this. In an instant, she is whiter than snowflakes, reflecting a diamond-like light under the lens, and those golden purple eyes can steal your heart just by looking at you casually. And the last scene, like the most dreamy mermaid, Xieting Zhou splashed out from the water. The white shirt on his body had long been wet and stuck to his skin. Like his seaweed-like hair, the whole figure looked like a mermaid, but after meeting those golden purple eyes, they will not make you feel fragile and want to protect, or even want to crawl at his feet and kiss his toes. Ah, this. Mother. I'm on my way. This is what I should see. Good man, he has a golden finger. Author, Jonghu Buletin. Chapter 150. Who wouldn't like such a top-notch beauty? Not to mention the girls on the internet who are always concerned about their appearance. Even people who are usually not interested in celebrities will hesitate for 2 seconds when they see this video, and then they can't help but watch it over and over again. How can anyone in this world do it? The beauty is so noble, people can clearly see his tempting body, but they still just want to crawl on the ground and wait for the other person's mercy. Many times, whether you are a woman or a man, if you shoot for these magazines related to the human body, you have one biggest problem, that is, you don't know how to express the beauty of your body, which makes you look raw or greasy. Excessive, but Xie Zhou is different. His appearance clearly belongs to the thick-faced type. Judging from his appearance, he has black hair, but it does not make people think that he is a woman. But at this moment, people who saw these videos felt that this face was indisputably beautiful. It can be said that people's highest evaluation of beauty is that beauty is indistinguishable from male to female, which proves that this person is beautiful from a male perspective and beautiful from a female perspective. This magazine has a reservation function, so after the video was released, the reservation webpage exploded. Many netizens even ran to the magazine and said, "Why don't you hurry up and publish it? Am I unable to afford it?" A magazine costs 45 yuan, and comes with 2 posters by Xie Zhou. There are 2 versions, As a pure star fan, the basic operation is to buy 4 copies, and keep the 2 different versions without opening them. In addition, open the 2 books and read them, and then enjoy the 4 free posters. At this moment, how many people in the entertainment industry are climbing the wall online, changing their hearts overnight, and saying to their hearts, "My destiny, it's not that I don't love you anymore, I just love others for a short time." After all, you have to understand the fact that people can fall in love with 2 people. It took 3 hours for the reservation website to be repaired, and it crashed again after 10 minutes of use. I directly made a link to someone's Weibo and posted it. Only then did netizens successfully make reservations, and the number of people increased by thousands every minute. Sales exceeded 500,000 in a few hours. This is simply the pinnacle of physical magazines. While Xie Zhou was leisurely reading alone, Lan Ruimen and Chu Dingshan bumped into each other secretly. "Did you buy it?" Lan Ruimen nodded. "Got it?" Chu Dingshan's eyes lit up. "How many?" Lan Ruimen stretched out 5 fingers, and Chu Dingshan was confused. 5 books. Lan Ruimen shook his head mysteriously. 500 copies. At this moment, Chu Dingshan's expression was complicated, and he immediately looked at Lan Ruimen as if he was looking at a pervert. He thought to himself, how could a person with thick eyebrows and big eyes like you do such a thing? He only bought 50 copies, but the other party dared to buy 500. Awesome, dear. Why did you buy so much? Although I felt it was subtle in my heart, I thought that Lan Ruimen was also a vampire. He would be following His Highness for a long time in the future. Just watching people was not enough? Why do you need a magazine? How long do you think His Highness the Prince will be interested in the entertainment industry? Lan Ruimen asked. Chu Dingshan was stunned by these words, and then he felt a little enlightened. Probably within 5 years, I probably won't be interested anymore. This vampire prince is very powerful. He can quickly understand anything that comes into his hands. Therefore, Xie Zhou will soon get tired of many things. In this case, Chu Dingshan naturally knows that it will not be long before His Highness the Prince then I won't like the entertainment industry. Then do you think it is possible that His Highness the Prince will be in the mood to shoot for such a magazine again? Lan Ruiman asked confidently, leaving Chu Dingshan speechless, so he hurriedly said. Then I will buy it again, I also want to buy 500 copies. At this moment, they only acted like this instinctively because of their infinite love for Xietingzhou. But later, after the existence of the Vampire Prince was made public, these magazines also became top limited luxury goods, and some people published 10 it costs tens of thousands to buy, but how can the buyer be tempted by such a price? This is a picture of the Vampire Prince. How could they be willing to let go? This batch of magazines is also known as the most expensive magazines in later generations, and it is also the only magazine that the Vampire Prince has photographed. Its rarity is evident. At the same time, inside the Shangjing City Police Station, a certain master and apprentice were also sneaking around and exchanging information. How much did you buy? Xiong Ke asked his apprentice Xin Yunqing that since they had the golden finger, they are most grateful to His Highness the Prince, and His Highness the Prince's blood cells are now used on it, so they are very supportive of Xietingzhu's entertainment career. 2 songs you can't listen anymore. 1,000 copies. Xin Yunqing raised a finger and said happily. He bought this together with his girlfriend. He planned to get married to her, so he naturally told his girlfriend to spend so much money. Unexpectedly, he originally planned to buy 500 copies together with the help of his girlfriend. I bought 1,000 copies and 2,000 posters. Oh my God, I feel so happy just thinking about it. Both of them are fans of Xietingzhou. Hee, me too, haven't I been like a god in solving cases recently and solved a lot of cases? The money in my hand is of no use anyway, so I just support His Highness the Prince, but my daughter still likes him very much. I will put these things back when I get back. Put the poster in my daughter's house, she will definitely like it. Xiong Ke said this with a matter-of-fact look. Recently, Xiong Ke has become a big celebrity in the police world. After all, not everyone can solve cases like a god. He has solved various major cases one after another, and has received a lot of bonuses and banners from people. Now the police station in Shangjing City is full of various banners. It can be said that Xiong Ke will definitely continue to move forward next year. Of course, my girlfriend doesn't love me now. Her circle of friends is all about His Royal Highness. She doesn't know His Royal Highness's identity, but is just a fan of His Royal Highness. I am really helpless. Xin Yunqing sighed, wondering if these magazines he bought could actually exchange him for a house in the future. After all, this thing is a real limited edition, and it will be gone once it is sold out. Not only these 4 people, Lu Shifeng and Lu Qinhui didn't say it, but they also bought 5,000 copies each to support their own prince's career. Of course, the main reason is that they have lived for thousands of years and have money. Anyway, they have nowhere to spend it, so it's good to buy some magazines. The 2 later placed these magazines in their villa and asked servants to take care of them, not allowing any problems with these magazines. The internet was even more excited, and the number of reservations in the first 24 hours directly exceeded 1 million. Oh my God! 1 million copies sold. It's not that all the magazines purchased add up to 1 million yuan, but it's real, 1 million copies were pre-sold. This reservation website is called reservation, but in fact you need to pay first. How can they give it to you if you don't pay? After the decline of physical magazines, the process is like this: first make an appointment, and then slowly ship it in a month. Some people may have to wait 2 months to receive the goods. But this time, everyone is very happy and not afraid of waiting, because they know what they are going to get. This pre-sale is for 3 days, and it will be closed after 3 days. Therefore, seeing such sales, YS Magazine began to spend a lot of money on major platforms for publicity. The opening screen of major platforms is Xie Tingzhu's face that is enough to kill people, which makes you instantly fascinated. Finally, after 3 days, this YS magazine sold the highest sales record in history. 3 million. 3 million magazines. You dare not imagine how many fans there are among them. It is said that there are only 2,000 fans in the entertainment industry, but now Xie Tingzhou has directly broken this rule with sales. Hashtag Xie Tingzhu's magazine sales of 3 million copies hashtag directly rushed to the hot search, and the editor-in-chief of YS magazine called to say that he could take various photos and covers for Xie Tingzhou for free in the future. As long as you call, we will come immediately. Xie Tingzhou has enjoyed a photo shoot once, and that photo shoot was quite fun, but Xie Tingzhou is not very interested in taking photos in the short term. In such a crazy situation, a director in the circle found Lan Ruoming and invited Xie Tingzhou to play a cameo role. This role is a villain, and the plot of the filming is actually a vampire love story. That's right, this is a movie called Dark Red Abyss. Don't be fooled by the name. It's actually a vampire love story. It tells a story about a vampire male protagonist falling in love with a human female protagonist, and Xie Tingzhu's role is to play a vampire prince in it. After discovering this, he broke up the couple. In short, this role must be noble and cold, untainted by dust, high and mighty, and make all vampires kneel down when they see it. The total time of the appearance was less than 3 minutes, and the director gave a very suitable price. When everyone saw the movie script, their expressions were complicated, thinking that the director was awesome. He personally found a vampire prince to play the role of a vampire prince. Very awesome. Xie Tingzhou thought it was fun to make a cameo appearance, and he actually went to the crew. The male and female actors found by the crew were quite beautiful, but they were eclipsed in front of Xie Tingzhou. In addition, the entire crew was obsessed with looks, so Xie Tingzhou was treated the most enthusiastically by the entire crew during the few days he filmed in the crew. After a few days of cameo appearance, Lan Ruoming looked at this lucky director and asked, "Do you know what you filmed? You let a real vampire prince watch a fairy tale about humans playing vampires. It's just." It is said that in the ending of the movie, the heroine becomes a vampire after accepting the hero's first embrace, and the two live together. Chu Dingshan suddenly realized. Isn't it said that vampires can only create blood slaves after the first embrace? Hey, this movie is not realistic. Xie Tingzhou laughed when he heard this. Only the first embrace of this prince can create vampires, but this prince doesn't want to. Vampires are not as fun as humans.